Hello YouTube. My old bush hog finally went past its sell-by date, and yeah, it rusted through and things like that. So I had to come up with an idea for a new mower, and so I was checking around on interweb and all that, and I found this guy, a Farmry VLF57, 57 inches wide, which is just about the width of a tractor when it's pulled in. But this guy is articulates upright for trimming hedges and stuff, and for bank mowing, and you can mow right next to your tractor. You can offset it that far so that it is just cutting just along that line of the tire there, so you don't run over stuff that you're cutting and run over it first. Yeah, so it made sense. The good folks at Farmry said it would be okay to do a video on this thing. I bought this. It's not sponsored by them in any way, shape or form. This is just, I've been playing around with it for a couple of hours, and I really like it. When it comes, I didn't do an unboxing thing because that's been done ad nauseum with other things, but when it comes, you have to, this arm and that arch, they are not on the mower. They are tied up with wires and lots of cushioning and stuff on the top, so it arrived without a single scratch on it. But I do have to say, though, they went a bit skimpy on the paint on the black stuff here. I had it outside for a couple of 3 days, and it starts rusting here where the paint guy didn't hit it, and up here on the, but yeah, a little bit of rattle can black, and it's all good. So, but the rest of it, I think it's powder coated because there's no runs on it. The material itself, that looks pretty hefty to me. So same thing goes here with the bolts. They run in proper bushings, not just drilled and reamed, but there's actual bushings in there, which I appreciate a lot. There's grease nipples in all the right places. When it comes, it doesn't say on their website what couplers it has, but it actually comes with 1/2 inch ag couplers. Now my tractor has got 1/4 inch because I built it that way. This is a bit of a DIY job with that block and all that stuff. So I had to put some adapters in here, and I would suggest that you put some flow restrictors in there as well, just to calm this thing down when it comes out, and so it's not quite as violent, let's put it that way, and you have a bit more control. You can get those flow restrictors that you put inside just at the end of the hoses between those. They're like, I don't know, $8 or something like that. It's well worth the investment. I made my own because I've got a lathe. So the only thing that I would change, and what I am going to change, is this guard. Though it is very sturdy and it protects this thing just fine, when you want to check the belts, it has to come off, right? And this thing has got Nylox nuts on the inside. You can get to the top one here easy enough. Yeah, that's that one, but the other ones are on the inside underside of the mower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put rivet nuts in there, so that I don't have to have a wrench on the other side, and I can just undo them and do them back up again, just because it's easier. Yeah, and then use bolts with a bit of Loctite stuff on them so that they don't vibrate loose, but you can just undo them and do them back up again without having to have a wrench on the other side of the thing, right? It comes with hammer blades. I'll just fire this thing up and put it upright so you can have a look underneath. Hang on. Put that guy in neutral. on my property, it's got a lot of, actually, you can see Rocky Top from here, right? Tennessee. So yeah, I've got a lot of rocks and things here, but these are forged hammer blades. They've got a few nicks and stuff in them now, but I've been running it for a few hours, and I didn't expect anything else. But they are forged and not cast, and that is, the cast ones, they tend to chip. These guys, you can sharpen up pretty easy. There's no problem at all. This is all pretty sturdy. The safety guards on there. You've got a scraper here on the roller that keeps that relatively clean. It stops grass clippings and stuff like that from building up on it like crazy. And then the back, it's got a nice thick rubber flap on it to stop any debris from getting kicked out the back. I probably put something a little bit weighty on here to keep that closed a little bit more, like I don't know, a strip of stainless or something like that along there, just to keep that down a little bit further when I mow around the house where there's chickens and stuff running around. Other than that, it's really well built. I mean, all of this stuff is pretty thick and heavy duty. I would suggest that if you get one of these and you put it together, that you have a second person there, because, as I said, it is pretty heavy stuff. I did it by myself, and I know that I did it. Let's put it that way. It's not the lightest of things. Comes with being as heavy duty as it is, right? I cut all of this. I cut 5 acres up there yesterday. I cut the driveway and around the pond and a couple of food plots and things, and it cuts a lot closer to the ground than a bush hog, and it also mulches up the clippings really well. I mean, that is let's see, this is what I did yesterday, and that is really, yeah, you get a couple of rains on that, and that'll just go back into the soil. Yeah? This is what I did yesterday. This was actually the first bit that I mowed. The height adjustment, for me, it's easy because I've got a hydraulic top link on the tractor, so I can tilt the mower up and down the way I want to let it run on the back roller, and then just tilt the whole thing further up to cut a little bit higher or shorten the top link if I want to cut a little bit lower. I'll show you how that works. For that, we got to fire that thing up again. Move this guy down. Put that on the ground. So there we are now. When you extend the top link, what happens is you can now lift this up a little bit, and then the whole mower, I don't know if you can see that on camera, it'll tilt up. It runs at that sort of angle. Then your skid here is well off the ground. Yeah? But if you want to mow, if you mow closer, then you hold that top link back in again and let it down. And now you're pretty much right on the skid here, right? So that is your height adjustment. You can move the skid if you want to. You can put it further down, but that is how it came from the factory, and that's how I let it sit. One other thing is, when it comes, the hydraulic couplers, they're just loose on there. Yeah, they don't have, they're not tightened up or anything. You have to put a wrench on them, and I suggest a couple more windings of sealing tape. Other than that, great machine. I love it. I've I had a blast doing the stuff I used to do with the bush hog. I suppose we can do this little bit here. I'll get the other camera out so you can see what's going on back there. Bear with me for a second, we get this figured out. So there you go. You can just about see that, that line that we just cut. It does brush and stuff like that. I've cut to about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that, and it does that without any complaints. So I don't know whether you're supposed to do that with it, but I don't baby my stuff, so it mows whatever I can get away with. And yeah, as for the rocks here on the property, that is just a thing that you have to live with. Maybe where you live, you got more sandy soil and less rocks and stuff, and that would be easier on the hammers. But I guess once I've been over this, because it cuts so much closer than a brush hog, I'm guessing once I've been over this once or twice with that mower, or the rocks that were there, they are going to be pretty much pulverized, so it'll get better with time, I think. It doesn't have to be true necessarily, but that's what I'm hoping. Anyway, there you go. That is how small that thing mulches up. It doesn't leave windrows. It's a cut like you would have with a zero turn kind of thing. Chops it all up nicely, doesn't blow it anywhere, just puts it back down where it found it, basically. So yeah, I'm a happy camper. So give those guys at Farmry a call if you want a decent flail mower. It's for what I consider, it's well worth the money.